comes to mind that you're most proud of in the last 7 years you've been there?
Almost 8.
Almost 8, and, yeah.
7, what we just gonna say. Being number 1 in the world was sort of a big deal. That was big. I have to say that was pretty big.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the story.
Yeah, please do.
For your audience. So it was in London. Condé Nast named Golden Door number 1. They called me and they go, "Oh my gosh, Kathy, you have to come to London. We're doing an award party." I go, yeah, okay. And I go, "London? Oh, that's like, wow, that's like far away." And they go, no. They call me back a few days later. "Oh no, Kathy, you have to come to London. You have to come to London." I go, "Okay." And so I call the owner and go, "You have to go to London." She says, no, it's too far away. And I go, "No, I think we have to go to London." So I convinced her to go. It was really fun. And so we got there, and at this, I thought it was a little tiny room, a few people. Oh my gosh, it was this packed hotel, this beautiful hotel, packed with lots of people. I'll make it really quick. And they're calling out all the awards. I'm standing there. I'm already prepping my "I didn't get anything" speech, because there I'm standing with my dear friend and owner. They go, "Well, it's good we got called. It's all good. It's all good. We're here with all these people. It's all good." And they call the first person. They call there's like 5 awards. They're on the last award. And I'm going, "Oh my God, I could not possibly." And they started describing us, and I went, "Oh my God," because they didn't certain trail words, And I go, "Oh my God," I actually have a picture of us both like screaming. I could not believe it. And I was so happy that she was there of all things. That was the best part. It was amazing. I'm so glad I went. That's all I can say. Thank you for making me go.
Yeah, you have to be there.
It was pretty special.
Yeah, and what happens now that is there additional pressure? Are you relishing in that
No, I think
acknowledgement?
it's just the acknowledgement was really nice. And there's nothing like what we do. We work at that every day to be super unique. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's easy for a hotel to have a lot of things, nothing wrong with that, but we have a much bigger job. We actually have to make a big impact on your life while you're there. We have to. It's our job. In a positive way, of course.
Now, I find I've heard that several times. How is it though that the other destination spas, retreats, hotels aren't saying like, we have to know our people? Like, how are you still staying so unique in that when that has to be like seen as that's the key?
Personalization is the key. Think about it. As the world becomes more mass driven, which it is, it loves mass. It loves mass sales, loves mass retail, loves mass, loves all pricing. But the more you become mass, the more you miss you. The more we become so global that we can't see one versus thousands, we forget about what's going on with the one. So we always have to think about one, only one at a time. It's assigned that way. There's certain kind of trainers, estheticians, therapists, they're all assigned for a specific one. It's not just, you just sign up and who's available. It's all pre-planned before you get there, who you're gonna get. And if we can affect one person in their life, especially a president, a CEO, a leader, a business manager, a philanthropist, who knows, a teacher, if we can affect that one person, think how many people they'll affect.
Yeah.
The
ripple effect
multiplication is unbelievable, and it happens.
What I'm extrapolating from that is this insane attention to personal.
Well, I started to say, you can design your own sneakers, you can design your own music, you can design your own home today. You can design your car, it can be delivered exactly as you want to your house. Personalization today is more than it ever was.
Sure. And
there's more people. So think how hard it is for you to feel, or a guest to feel, attended to personally when they're in a hotel. That's the trick. Can we do that? Most hotels, that would be really hard. You don't even know their names.
Sure.
We have names on our doors. Could you imagine walking down a hotel and seeing everybody's name on the door? Be stopping and looking at everyone. Who's here today?
Yeah.
But we have all the names on the doors.
Can that be also in some way a lesson for leaders to be attentive or to make this personalized experience in whatever their business is, whatever their...
Honestly, it goes right back to listening. It really does. It goes back to listening to where is the trouble spot when they walk through the door. Where is the trouble spot that you might hear the first couple of days, and just focusing on the trouble spot, because you only have so many days.
And that, again, it feels like whether it's a customer, your employees, or executive team, there's this listing in a way that you're trying to be a steward or serve them.
Right, you are serving.
Yeah.
Our job is 100% service. It's not like a product's job where you're selling. You are humbly a service person. Well, all of us, myself included. I remind people every single day that my job is one of service today and here.
So
it's a different kind of a thought process when you're a service person.
Love that. I love that because leaders, especially entrepreneurs,
you have to put your ego in a bag.
It's right, and you're so a lot of leaders, they come up and they're the smartest person in a thing. They created something, they made something, or it's their thing. But then this So,
can't be there here. You can't do that here.
yeah,
None of us can do it. None of us. You can be proud and dogmatic and a leader about your work to get the work done, but when it comes to the running of the company, you have to be as much of a listener and as humble as everybody else. It's the most incredible thing. It's something I actually get used to coming from consumer products into hospitality. It's a different world.
I'm also struck, you said like no one would have hired someone
No
from
one.
the.
I mean, no one's a big number, but I'm pretty sure it's a big number.
But, yeah,
Especially at the president's level.
yeah,
Maybe one thing to hire you, maybe lower and grow you, but to actually throw you into the top job, probably not. And by the way, huge mistake.
I was gonna
Huge
say, as
mistake.
I was hearing, there's
Huge
more and more
mistake.
reasons why that seems to make
Absolutely,
sense.
100%, and it's a shame. It's a shame because I do it all the time. I will interview anybody that will come to my door and see how they could be an interesting fit to my company at a new level of like something in it that'll twist it a bit to a different way, a more fresh way. And unfortunately, you look at all those resumes and it's all the square holes, square holes, square holes, square holes, but you know, sometimes the round one's better. Why? Because they think differently. They have different experiences and they can take the same exact experiences and apply them to your business in a brand new way. And that's what makes it cool.
I love that as a, not that
I
it's,
wish people would do it more.
would be open to
I
it and
wish
do
they
it.
would.
Yeah.
They're making, and I believe that leaders are making a big mistake by only hiring people that are only 100% trained in that field. What would be different about fashion to running a hotel? First of all, I have to predict 2 years in advance in fashion. I can make a mistake today and fix it tomorrow in a hotel. Technically, you're gonna come in and talk to me and say, oh my God, I didn't get that right. Tomorrow, I don't have to produce it, I just have to fix it. And fashion is all about touching your emotions. What would be more about me touching your emotions than making you feel better?
That's what I mean. I started to see all of these,
So perfect.
like, good fit.
It's a really great fit.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
But I think that's a little bit of wisdom right there that I hope we don't
I
skip
do
over.
too.
So, yeah.
I do too, because I think we'd have a more interesting marketplace if we would shake it up a little bit and not just give straight lines and get the lines a little more crooked to get more interesting people.
Yeah, with the outcome again of being able to be open to
I'm a
listen.
good steward. As long as the steward knows where they're going, the leader gets to make sure the ship's on course while everybody else is, getting its edges into the same place.
Yeah. I want to also, because this I found fascinating, most of the year are women only.
Yeah, 40 weeks.
40 weeks out of the year, women only. And is that why?
Well, it's quite interesting. I wouldn't have known this until I got there, but as much as people would not to believe, there is a difference between the men and the women. A very big difference between men and women. They're not the same. I'll tell you one of my favorite stories about, and I think the gender weeks are the most important. I think when the gentlemen come, it's like boys camp. And I think that men never have the chance to go back and be a boy again once they grow up and become a man. They have to be a man all the time, 24 hours a day. And I think that's very hard. I think you forget about fishing and running with your shoes off and sitting in the dirt and swimming in the pool with all your friends and playing volleyball in the water every day and running up and down the mountains and leaving your shirt like whatever, wearing like sneakers all day. So I think our men's camp is very much about men's, and our women's camp our women's weeks are these introspective women who all come together. You have to think about this. It's not like we have a restaurant, everybody eats at the same time. But the biggest difference, it will tell you all about it, is the men love to eat in the dining room at breakfast in the morning. You can kind of imagine they have their newspapers or their books or their iPads. They're all corralled around the tables. They're all talking back and forth. And the women are in their rooms. Because when does a woman get breakfast served to them on a platter right at their table? Never. So there's this interesting dynamic you always see during the weeks of how the women's weeks are managed and how the men's weeks are sort of managed. And it's them that are doing it. It's what they want. It's quite fascinating.
They choose into that experience,
Yeah.
and then it's.
And they love it. It's part of their natural experience. I mean, not always the women are in the water playing volleyball every day. Hardly ever. They'll be doing swimming classes and aerobic classes, but they're probably not playing like charging, get me on your team if I'm not winning volleyball.
Yeah.
And so I love that. I love the fact that we can see both of the different, and we have co-ed weeks, which is a whole other perspective. And when both a man and a woman come either alone or together or friends or however they arrive, they're a little bit different too.
How do you create, I guess, the awareness, the openness in on your team, right, for treating people continually not stereotyping and continually not putting them into gender bias or.
Well, we sort of help that too, because how they get assigned, we know the talent of each of the people. So we can switch, but we very rarely happens. We pretty much know when someone comes in, what they're kind of looking for. By Monday, when they meet their trainers, we can tell from them, so okay, we might switch these two around because this one will be better. But they pretty much know. It's pretty shocking to me every week, every 7 days. They say, how did your trainer know to push me that hard? And I go, that's that they just do.
They just do. But I think what's important, I just, as a woman who's been successful for years and years and years, in a industry where, again, it was run by men.
Yeah.
And now your clientele that are coming are titans and male and female.
Both male and female.
Yep. So, but their weeks are different. They're different. Is there anything you glean just in our world right now that just in terms of the difference and what the benefit of having this difference and celebrating, I guess, the difference is there anything that you've seen that you could extrapolate and say,
Like from the guests?
From the guests, from your own experience, I think.
I think that I'm going to try to answer that the right way. I think the most important thing for a company like ours, which is very different than any other kind of company, we do this every single day. We are living in this sort of utopic world of creating a happy experience for people who need it. And that just rubs off on you, honestly, especially when you're successful every week at it. So I don't know if that really answers your question. I mean, it takes a unique set of people to be able to do it every single day with love and passion. Every single Monday, guests will be walking across those, corridors, and they'll be ready and waiting and anxious, and the work must start.
Okay, but so I guess I'm curious. I'll just ask this without my bias of what I'm hoping the answer is. But what your team, these extraordinary people who do this week in and week out, are they naturally extraordinary, or could more people be given the correct circumstances?
Totally. It's all about the business itself guides you to how you have to approach the business. Clearly, we have talented people around every company. That's natural. It doesn't mean. I hired someone from a beauty company to run guest services or be in my guest services department. You know why? Because I figured they're traveling all the world talking to the top guys in beauty. They will certainly understand how to communicate to guests about what we do. It's been amazing. So I think that any candidate, any person who wants to try something new and different will not fail at it as long as they're open-minded about trying it. I don't see that as a problem. If that's the answer to your question, I'm not sure.
It is, and I want to follow it up with kind of how leaders can create culture and how important culture is.
It's everything.
Can you speak a little bit?
Everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's almost about, if you're going to talk authenticity, you have to be authentic. If you're going to talk about how do you get to where you want to go to, you have to stay on it. And you have to be the real deal yourself. You can't be different at the top than the top you're trying to talk to. You have to be just as trustworthy and just as caring. You have to get your hands just as dirty. Going down there when there's problems, if there's nobody serving because we have some problem with traffic and we have to go down and serve, we'll do anything. I think that leadership today is not, I think maybe where you're going, there is no real benefit for hierarchical today because people don't want hierarchical. They want flatline leaders. The flatline leaders means you're all in it together. If one wins, we all win. No one suffers versus another person. And I think that anybody can come into that environment because it's self-nurturing. Honestly, the neighbors will all self-nurture you.
Now, I just again for leaders going about creating that, especially as there's more and more employees and there starts to become naturally levels of hierarchy. How do you again create a culture where it feels, or where the experience is, we're all in this together, even though the positions might be different?
I think it takes time. Especially turnarounds. When you go into turnaround kinds of environments, they're a little ragged at first. Because first of all, the environment could be in pain for wherever it is. And you're in there and you're part of the pain, of course, because you're in the beginning of it. But once they see that you're heading toward that little spot on the wall, and everybody sort of sees what the spot's doing for them personally and for their family, then I think that everybody starts to trust and everybody gets on board and you go in all the same direction. You can't have the boat going forward and have a few people rowing the opposite way. That's a bit of a challenge. So that I go back to that. If you're really going to be a winner and you're going to be number one in the world, everybody has to be number one. It can't just be one person. It has to translate all the way down to the gardeners. And this is what everybody's been going crazy about the gardens. Well, that's all the garden crew. So to me, it just seems sort of logical. If you're a leader and you want to have great people, all you have to do is inspire them and help correct and show them that's great direction, go more that direction. Maybe that's not such a great direction, don't try that direction. This doesn't sound very new, of course, But I think communication from the top is critical because we have the experience. We should just be sharing it.